Indians, we're all obsessed with straight hair, and we are honestly blessed with wavy or curly hair. And instead of enjoying those waves and enjoying those curls, we obsessively try to blow dry, straighten, smoothen, do keratin and cysteine and whatnot just to make our hair straighter and straighter. Not only does it damage your hair, but you're wasting the lovely curls and all the life you have in your hair. So, I'm Dr. Tanvi Vaidya, and I'm going to talk to you today about how you can manage your hair while you keep it curly and embrace your curls and embrace your waves. Now, getting started with your hair care routine. The most basic three things I'd like you to follow is milder shampoos, deeper conditioning, and less things that can add to friction, like less combing, less running your hands constantly through your hair, or less static causing materials in your hair ties, your pillowcases, your hair bands, and all of that. Now, the first question is, how is curly hair different from straight hair? Is it really different? Yes, it is. Curly hair on cross section is actually more oval as compared to straight hair, which is rounder. Curly hair also has a higher porosity and a greater tendency to dry out, which is why it tends to get frizzy pretty easily. Now, if you treat curly hair like straight hair, it's not going to work because structurally curly hair is made differently. In fact, there's also a lot of grades of the curliness or the straightness of your hair. Grade 1 is super straight and silky hair. From 2 onwards, it starts to get wavier. 2A, 2B, 2C. By 3, it's properly curly, and by 4, B and C, it is the super tight, super tight curls essentially, like we see in African American hair. Now, it's very important to identify what type of hair you have, and how you need to take care of your hair depends on that hair type. Now, what I was talking about, the first thing was shampooing. In shampooing, make sure you use sulfate-free shampoos. Now, what are sulfates? What is this obsession with sulfate-free? When you have sulfates in your shampoo, sulfates are surfactants, so they help to cleanse better, remove oil, grease, build up a little better. When you have a hair that is prone to frizz, that is curly hair, you need to minimize sulfates in your regular wash so there's less static and less frizz in your hair. However, when you use a lot of curly girl products, you tend to have a lot of deep conditioners and creams in your hair. So to get rid of that build-up from forming on your scalp and on your hair, you do need sulfates, but restrict that to maybe once in 2 weeks. So you can use a clarifying shampoo or a sulfate containing shampoo once in 2 weeks, but for the rest of your regular washes, stick to sulfate free. Now, when you use all of these styling methods, if you want to add some additional hold to your curls, you can also use heavier products, even heavier than just your leave-in conditioners, like certain gels and certain creams which have a certain amount of hold to them. The problem with these is very often they become a little stiff and they make your hair look a little wet. Now, a lot of people love this look, so if you like it, absolutely go ahead with it. I personally just like the deep conditioning and just scrunching a little bit, and that looks great according to me. One DIY that you can do is a flaxseed gel. So you just immerse flax seeds in water and soak them for a while, and it forms a sticky gel that can be used as a natural option to give your curls some hold. But however, again, yes, it still also makes your hair slightly hard and it gives that slightly wettish texture. But a lot of people absolutely swear by this and love it, so you can definitely try this out. Now, question I get asked a lot is, how should you dry your hair because you want to keep your curls intact and all of that. So one thing is, use a microfiber towel that again reduces the static when you dry your hair. Use just air drying honestly works best. After you finished, removing the excess water with your microfiber towel, just air dry it. It works beautifully with your leave-in products, works super well. If you have to use heat, I would definitely advise you to avoid heat, because heat generally will increase the static in your hair, will worsen frizz and will damage your hair. But if you have to use heat without it damaging your curls, use a diffuser. Diffuser is this large attachment at the end of your hair dryer, which you can literally apply, keep your hair inside the diffuser and let the heat diffuse through, letting it all dry without the curls breaking up. Another thing I'd recommend is using satin. So you can use satin scrunchies when you tie your hair, satin hair bands, satin pillow covers to again reduce static. Static is the enemy of curls, right? It's just going to pave the way for frizz. One more thing a lot of people like to use to really maintain your curls post wash, once it's all dried out, but you want to sleep and the next day you want your curls still to look good. So use a satin bonnet when you sleep. Again, keeps your curls all intact. Next, coming to the biggest point of curly hair care is conditioning. So you really need to condition your hair well. Curly hair just soaks up all of that conditioner. You need that conditioning to balance the porosity of your hair. So pre-shampoo, you can oil your hair, or you can use these pre-shampoo masks or pre-shampoo melt-in balms or conditioners to work on a pre-shampoo conditioning as well. And honestly, hair oiling works beautifully for this purpose. Basic cold pressed coconut oil works fantastically. Next comes post wash conditioning, right? Like, so during your shower, after you shampoo your hair, you need to condition. So use heavier conditioners at this time. You can use even hair masks during this time. Leave them on for about 5 minutes. While this conditioner is on, run it well through all of your curls, and you can use a white toothed comb at this point to detangle your hair and get rid of all of the tangles, because you don't have to be combing your hair when you have curly hair later, right? After your shower, if you comb your hair, it's going to open up and turn into frizz. So make sure you detangle your hair during your shower with your conditioner on, so that there's no breakage. Once that's done, you wash your conditioner off, you towel dry your hair, and once that is done, you can use leave-in conditioner. So you can use leave-in creams, leave-in serums, leave-in masks, all of that, to again add nourishment after your towel drying is done. So there's various methods to sort of style your hair once you've applied your leave-in conditioners, right? So I'll just quickly go over them. There is scrunching, there's wet plopping, there's shingling, there's roping. There's so many different methods, but I'll just talk about 2 or 3 which I usually prefer or I recommend to people with curly hair to do. So one is wet plopping, where once you're done, you just turn your hair over onto a wet t-shirt or a towel, tie it up and scrunch it like this with your fingers so the curls stay intact. Another method is scrunching, where I'll actually show you. So you just open your hair out, it's wet, I have the product in, take my hair like this and I scrunch it up like this. Sorry, my hair isn't curly enough to be demonstrating this, right? But this is literally the action that you got to do. That's called scrunching. Another method is called roping, where you divide your hair into multiple sections. You take one section, run the product through, and you can, go around it like this. Shingling is similar. There's so many different methods with which you can apply this product and help to curl it in. So my favorite and the most convenient is honestly scrunching, because this is all you need to do and you're good to go in just a few seconds, right? Now the next thing is a big controversial topic, especially in our country, that is combing, because we've been taught for centuries that combing is a must for good hair. Comb 100 times. There was a 100 stroke, 100 brush trend on the internet. It's crazy how much you want to comb your hair. But combing your hair makes sense when you have straight hair. Honestly, even in straight hair, it gets frizzy. So can you imagine how frizzy it's going to get when you comb curly hair? Because all of your individual curls are going to open up and they're going to turn into frizz. So definitely I would say avoid combing. It's not a big deal. I'm a dermatologist and I can guarantee it to you that it's okay to not comb your hair every day. Comb your hair in the shower with your conditioner on with a white tooth comb for the purpose of detangling your hair, because you don't want it all tangled up and it to become a mess. But post your shower, if you comb your hair, then just be prepared for frizz and say goodbye to your curls. Another super huge misconception that a lot of people have and they actually believe is that every time people switch to the curly curl routine for the first time, they think that they're facing a lot of hair loss. Now this is not true for multiple reasons. I'll tell you why. One is hair fall when it happens right from the root is happening because of internal factors like your nutritional status, your stress levels, your hormonal factors, so many things, right? Just applying a certain type of conditioner is not going to actually cause hair fall unless you're severely allergic to it. And I'm a dermatologist again, I'm telling you that this is for sure. Secondly, the deal is that you normally lose 50 to 100 hair per day. Once you switch to the curly curl routine, you've stopped combing your hair. Even normally when you comb your hair, you notice hair coming out. That's hair that's already fallen off from the root level. That's just once you comb it, because you're pulling on it, this hair has already fallen out. There's no point trying to save this hair. This is a normal physiological thing happening every day. Just because you're combing, it's coming out. Those are hair that are already loose. Now, when you don't comb your hair for 3 days, those already loosened or already fallen out hair haven't fallen out. So when you wash your hair and you condition it, when there is less friction, or when you comb your hair post that conditioning, you'll suddenly see a lot of it, because yeah, it's 2 days worth of hair or 3 days worth of fallen out hair since your last wash. So it looks like it's a lot more, but honestly it isn't. So don't worry about it. Just switching to a curly girl method is not going to cause hair fall at all. Lastly, there's a lot of people who say, chalo, I've tried the curly girl method for a while, now I want to go straight for a while. Okay, so then they go to the parlor and they ask them to straighten it for them. The parlor even tells them, ye to bilkul chemical treatment nahi hai, this is a protein treatment. Do it, it won't damage your hair, it's good for your hair and all of that. But frankly, all of these treatments, ranging from straightening and smoothing to keratin, cystine, nanoplasty, botox, all of them are going to damage your hair in varying intensities. Botox is least damaging, straightening and smoothing are most damaging. But yes, they're all going to damage your hair because they are breaking the bonds, the structural integrity of your hair to straighten it. All of these treatments also don't just fade. No matter what the parlor guys are going to claim, the part of your hair that has been straightened will remain straightened. So now you have to wait for that part to entirely grow out. You have to chop it off, because the hair that's coming from your roots is going to come out curly, right? And the length, the end of it is straight. So it starts to look awful once your hair starts to regrow. So it's going to be a very long period. Even if they tell you that, hey, keratin is only going to last you 3 months or 4 months, it's going to last way more than that, because you have to wait for all of that crappy hair to grow out, pardon my language. So I really don't recommend for people with curly hair to go in for these treatments, because it's damaging, it makes your hair look awful, and you don't need it. Your curls look fabulous. So sport your curls, love your curls, and if you have any more questions about how to manage your curls or how to help your hair look gorgeous, do ask me in the comments below.